So I was making these panels and the labels on them were originally going to be part of the print. This one actually turned out pretty good, but you have to get the Z layer height really good on these. And this is at the same time when my main good printer broke and I just didn't want to mess with it. So I'm going to change to the laser method. Now, while you can't laser black marks onto PLA like you can with wood, what you can do is get printer toner to stick on it with a laser. This is a technique I first learned about when I was making custom keys for this keyboard a couple of years back. Where else are you going to find a key with a plus sign and a semicolon on it, or the parentheses on 8 and 9? But it is surprisingly good quality, and you can have any key you want as long as it's, black on white. You can even have an any key. Now, the K40 here is far too powerful of a laser for this to work. What we need is something a lot smaller. I have this 5.5 watt blue laser here attached to my CNC machine. This is the one with ball screws. So it's very accurate in positioning. That's how I was able to get such good quality on these keys. First step is safety glasses. There's not many tools that are scarier than an unenclosed high-power laser. Safety glasses for blue laser are orange because they block out blue light. So if yours aren't orange, they're probably not real. Second safety feature is the enable key. Goes in there like that. When it's in that position, the laser can be turned on. And importantly, this key is retained, so I know if the key is ever out, the laser can never be turned on. Now, that's obviously not meant to be a comprehensive safety program, but I do the same thing on all of my lasers because the safety features that they come with are literally nothing. We'll do a test print first, so I'm still using the scrap one, and I've already gone ahead and set up a little bit of fixturing so it's nice and secure in there. I mean, not enough for milling, but plenty for lasering. And I've already gone ahead and lined up the laser. So I did a test print earlier, just trying to print this circle, right where this hole is. And that's good enough for me. Now, what I tend to do when I do test prints, even on a scrap piece like this, is first print on a piece of tape. And the reason for that is you don't have to use tape, but you can keep applying toner to the thing, keep making test print over and over again on the same test piece, and all of a sudden you'll become really confused about which one was the current print, which one was the last test print. But at least with the tape, you can peel up the old tape and then put down a new piece, and you've got a nice fresh starting point. And this here is just toner, regular laser printer toner. What it actually is a very fine powder of ABS plastic. So that's how it can melt into it. So you more or less want a semi-even coat. It's surprising how badly of a job you can do and still have it work. But that's good enough for now. I also find that toner kind of gets a bad rap as being excessively messy. But it's really not. It's dust. It's microplastics. But it's just dust. Brushes off. It's certainly not messy like something like paint would be. So I've drawn up the pattern that I want to go on the panel. Now, in my case, I do things a little bit differently than everyone else, so my dimensions start right in the image itself. This is 20 pixels per millimeter. And the reason I do that is because I don't use any kind of specialty laser software. Instead, I just have this Python program I made that goes from the image directly to G-code using my own control methods. It's not super fancy image processing stuff, but it certainly does work. So I've just run it there. Now I can find the G-code, and there it is. Lots and lots of G-code commands. And then of course I have to have a way to visualize that, so I made a visualizer that goes from G-code back to an image. So we run that one, and what it will look like is this. And so the red lines are G0 rapid move commands. The green lines are G1, where it, moves at speed, and it goes left to right, top to bottom, skipping over any white sections, where the laser doesn't have to turn on. And right at the beginning of everywhere that there's a laser spot, you'll add a little extra move there so that the head can get up to speed as it goes across that line there. If you have it start, right at the laser point, it'll accelerate, start to accelerate on the laser part itself, so it'll be distorted. A lot of laser programs don't do this part of it correctly, which is why I've done it myself. One reason. The other reason is it leads itself to automation very easily, and that's how I was able to do a whole keyboard. Imagine putting 64 images into something like LightBurn or LaserWeb. It's just not a good process. So with that, we can open up our favorite G-code sender and load in the G-code file. There it is. See, the visualization on this looks a lot crappier. But regardless, it's at this point that we can turn on the key and then start the smoke funnel fan. It doesn't make a lot of smoke, but better not to be breathing smoke. And then we can just hit play. Now, something that's really apparent with the yellow plastic here is it really phosphoresces under the blue light. On other materials, the blue laser is, not invisible, but a lot less bright than it is here. And now that we're past that first part, I can stop it and we can see how we did. It's a bit difficult to do one-handed, but yeah, it looks pretty good. I suppose it's time to move on to the real panel now. All right, it finally just finished. But it certainly is not a quick process. It actually took 45 minutes just for that one panel. But let's see how we did. A garbage napkin here. Well, that's looking pretty good. All right, well, here it is, a little bit more cleaned up. And there are a couple of areas where it could have probably used a little bit more toner and maybe a little bit more laser power, but it's definitely on there. It cannot be scraped off, really. And it looks like I could have also done a little bit better job centering this, but yeah, for this project, that actually fits the aesthetic.